Hey guys, this is Juno and welcome back to another Summoners War video. So I did put out that video talking about the RTA team that I might be running next season, but I want to make the decision after the balance patch, and then we did get that recently. So let's go check that out together. So there are some good ones actually. Well, not good ones. There are some units that we expected or was finally touched. I'm actually surprised because I think most of the units that we complained about, or a lot of players complained about, were touched, other than the fact of the RNG stuff, right? So if you look at this, Dark Panda is number 1. That's actually pretty big. Dark Panda. We were surprised that it didn't get touched last balance patch, but it was in the middle of the season, so I guess they just want to let it go. I did talk about this during a review on Perp's account, saying that I think he has a decent chance to abuse this unit and also the Alaska for this season if they don't get touched. But funny enough, they both got touched, so I don't know. It says it decreases the increasing damage by 50 has been changed to 30% if the enemy's attack power is lower than yours. So a lot of damage mitigation is gone. I think that is pretty big. Although the condition is still there, obviously that didn't change. So he still has the mechanism to survive, which I do think is still pretty good. So I don't think he's like dead, but he's not as OP as he was before. So he's not like unkillable anymore. It will be easier, a lot easier for fire monkeys to start hitting this guy and start hitting like a truck. Before, I think a lot of fire monkeys being built tanky, they needed to wait all for 10 stacks to actually start doing damage to the Dark Panda. But now I think you could hit him a lot earlier to start doing damage. Number 2 is also pretty big. Valkyrie, which is Camilla. Now the 20% damage reduction effect against non-critical hits is removed. So I think that means she is weaker against bombs. Obviously the only Onimushas that don't crit. I think she's going to be less usable in RTA, unfortunately, because it just simply means like even Fang, Wind Panda will eat through her, because usually the RTA heavy Camillas are built pretty squishy or low HP. They're not squishy due to the passive, but now against certain units they will be extremely squishy. Battle Angel, this was actually surprising. I didn't think that Sonya was gonna get nerfed. Sonya got nerfed. Now she does 50% damage apart from 100%. Well, the increase is up to 50%, so it really depends on how much faster you were on the unit that you're hitting. But now the max is 50%, so it's gonna hit a lot less. I don't know how much viable she would be, because I think now she won't be able to kill things that she was supposed to. Yeah, 100% to 50% is a huge drop. I'll have to see a comparison once it comes out. Pretty sure people are gonna start posting it on Reddit, but I'll be surprised if she's still heavily picked in RTA against certain comps. Twin Angels, all of them now only increases target attack bar by 10%, skill 1, apart from 15. The water one now recovers 10% and 15. I think that's actually pretty big. So the shield is the same. I mean, the heal itself wasn't always that great. 15% wasn't even that big, but now being 10%, I think that's gonna be really small. Now Wind one also got nerfed, decreases the attack speed of all enemies for 2 turns with 100%, now 60% chance. So before it was with accuracy, and if it passes that check, it's 100% slow. But now it's accuracy, and then if it passes that, it only has 60%. So it's actually not even the accuracy thing, it's just more of a chance thing, which kind of sucks. More RNG things, right, that people complained about, but okay, interesting. Dark one, Air Shark, decreases the defense of enemies for 3 turns with 50% to a 75% chance, so that's a buff because there's not a lot of people that use that unit. Spectre Princess, Water and Dark, this is another big one. The skill cooldown reduction effect for Arsenal of Sacrifice when the arsenal is full is removed. So now, it doesn't matter if it's full or not, if they use it, it goes in cooldown. So I think that's pretty big. Final rest spell, I don't really care. I hope it's a buff, because the fire, wind, and light were definitely being used a lot less compared to the water and dark. I think that's a buff. Remove all beneficial effects granted on the selected enemy target, and then attacks all enemies with an attack that deals more damage according to your max HP to stun them for 1 turn. So it's a 1-turn stun, AoE stun with a 50% chance. Enemies defeated by this attack and enemies already defeated when this attack is used cannot be revived. Ooh, It's not bad actually, especially in Siege. I think if you're going against certain revive defenses, I think it'll be good. Like Tyranna stuff, decent, right? Especially the wind one, because it has damage mitigation as well. So it's more survivability on your team side, and also it's blocking them from reviving. So I think it's pretty good. The Dark Biot got buffed, guys. So now increases the attack bar by 20% after you attack on your turn. It only increased when they stunned, I believe. It will obviously take more turns naturally. Not bad. I'm not sad about it. It's a buff. I just don't know. It's still very RNG reliant, so we'll see. Maybe I'll play with it in the early season. The Yennefer's blocks the target from removing harmful effects for 1 turn with a 30% chance. That one was, the effect was added. And then the Wind Dark one, max cooldown goes down. Okay, I think the Dark one, the Magic Shield cooldown going down is pretty big. Because Dark one is actually used pretty heavily. Or, I mean, a lot of people still use it in RTA. I've seen a couple. And it has an annoying mechanic with it as well. If you don't touch her, her skill 2 comes back up really quickly. Yeah, it's annoying. Fire got a small buff, Fire Hacker. Whenever an enemy gains a turn, the HP is reduced by 3% to 4%. So Dot Team, I guess, is stronger. And obviously the control comp, the debuff comp using Layla and Hackers and Tomoe is stronger, slightly more damage. Geralt Dark 2BS increases your attack power by 100% up to 300% for each beneficial effect granted on yourself. Ooh. So if you have 3 beneficial effects, your attack power is 300% stronger. I wonder how much damage you could do. I don't think he'll be still that great. Wind and Dark. The second attack stuns all enemies for 1 turn with a 30% chance, now 50% chance. Okay, a little more reliable, but still 50%. I think the Dark Demon's passive being buffed is pretty big. Resets the cooldown time of Madness Judgment when revived by this effect. Actually, no, if you reset the demon, he can't come back, right? This passive gets reset. Okay, so I guess if he used it and just dies, where his passive is still intact, when he comes back, he will have skill 2 up right away. So it's a little more oppressive, but still reset kind of kills this kit. Monkey King Dark now blocks all enemies from receiving harmful effects for 1 turn. Okay. Polar Queen does a little more damage. The Inosuke's got a little buff, attacks all enemies to grant the silence effect, which I didn't really like. It changed to attacks all enemies to provoke them for 2 turns with the, okay, provoke, better than silence, I believe. The Wind one, the Wind Dragon Warrior. I don't have any of these Dragon Warriors, so I'm not too sure about these, so I'll leave them up to you guys. I don't have any of the Dragon Warriors, so no real opinion. I don't even have the Spectre Princess, but it was just so heavily used in Siege and RTA. Felt like I wanted to talk about that. To be fair, seeing this, there's also some Beetle Guardian stuff, Cassandra stuff, Unicorn stuff that gave them a slight buff, like bigger shields for the Wind one, I believe. The Diana lands debuffs, regardless of stripping. The Cold Girls, the Dark one got a slight buff because it lost, I guess, a hit. It gave it a little more damage. Water Dark. Okay, more heals for more harmful effect. I like this Cannon Girl buff. Remember I questioned why like those stuns or freezes are not getting cleansed. Now it will be. That's awesome. It was a big balance patch. They touched a lot of units. And I think they touched some big units, so I think that's good. I think the ones worthy to talk about, at least for me, because of RTA, is the top ones here. I might go back to Vanessa stuff. Vanessa, I think I will keep the wedge at if I have to. It looks like the Water Twin Angel, 10% attack bar is small, but it's not like it's not going to be usable. I think it's still be usable. I think we'll still see Water Twin Angels. Same with the Wind Twin Angels, but the slow not landing 100% kind of sucks because it really helped with my wedge at. But I do think both Twin Angels will still be used pretty heavily. I might be wrong though. Maybe this is a big debuff. Again, but the Water Twin Angel being a soul sustain will be a lot weaker because that 10 to 15% or 15% to 10% is kind of big. Knowing that it was a small heal in the first place. Then I do think the Spectre Princess will be weaker. Valeska will definitely be weaker, especially if you start getting reset. I think it will be really hard for them to come back. Sonya, I have to think if I'm going to use that. But the crucial thing is that the second turn stuff did not get touched. Like the RNG stuff that Shizuo complained about, you know, Josephine, the Tetsuya, the Gyu, You know, all those, you know, the multi-hit stuff also didn't get touched. So knowing that, I am leaning towards the second turn team a little more, especially knowing that some of these speed leads and control units did get nerfed. So we will try that. I think I will start rerooting for that and see how that works on. What was your opinion on this balance patch? I don't want to talk about everything. I think the NAF4 stuff might be interesting, especially for Siege players, because I know that, you know, NAF4s are used heavily in Siege, especially due to the fact that you have to make a tower defense with them, only NAF4 units. I think the Neo Stonefighter got pretty interesting because it always counterattacks when it's low HP, but if it gets one shot though, like, what is it gonna do? So we'll have to see, but that's my opinion. In conclusion, I think it touched a lot of stuff. It was definitely better than the previous balance patches, in my mind. But from it, my RTA direction now goes to second turn team. So I am gonna try that in the early season. Let's see if I can pick it up. Hope you guys look forward to it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.